Late at night, a weary traveler navigates the desolate mountain roads alone. The sky is dark, thick fog envelopes the surroundings, and an unsettling feeling creeps over him. Suddenly, he notices an ancient graveyard by the roadside, with tombstones casting eerie shadows under the moonlight. Deciding to press on, as he drives away from the graveyard, the car's engine unexpectedly dies. Frantically, the traveler attempts to restart the vehicle, only to find complete silence, broken only by the howling of the wind. At that moment, a chilling breeze blows, sending shivers down his spine. In his anxious state, he notices an old lantern in the graveyard suddenly lighting up, casting intertwining shadows. Gradually, a faint glow emanates from a tombstone, forming a humanoid figure. The traveler's heart races as the figure reveals a sinister face, eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light. He realizes that this is not an ordinary ghost, but a soul resurrected from the dead. The soul beckons to him, emitting a faint and eerie voice, as if calling out to him. The traveler feels an invisible force pulling him, making him unable to resist. He decides to follow this ominous soul, curious to discover where it will lead him. As he follows the soul through the graveyard, he suddenly notices the thick fog intensifying. The scenery of the graveyard seems to shift, as if hiding some mysterious secret between the tombstones. The soul's voice becomes increasingly mournful, whispers of ghostly murmurs echoing in his ears. When the traveler realizes he's deeply ensnared in this eerie graveyard, he suddenly feels his body being pulled by icy hands, an invisible force starting to engulf him. His breathing becomes rapid, his heart seemingly ready to escape from his chest. Suddenly, he finds himself back inside the car, the graveyard and the shadow of the soul vanished without a trace. The car's engine restarts, and the dim mountain road reappears before him. His heartbeat hasn't settled, but everything seems to have returned to normal. On the way home, he dares not look back at that desolate mountain area, his mind filled with an inexplicable fear. He understands that what he just experienced wasn't an illusion, but a warning from the dead, a paranormal encounter leaving him deeply unsettled. Late at night, a young woman drives alone through a desolate mountain road. The sky is pitch black, thick fog envelopes the surroundings, and visibility is extremely low. The car's headlights struggle to pierce through the darkness, casting eerie shadows. Suddenly, she notices an abandoned cabin by the roadside, concealed by thick trees, appearing eerie and terrifying. Though her instincts warn her not to stop, curiosity compels her to hit the brakes and park in front of the cabin. As she steps out of the car, she senses an invisible gaze fixed upon her, causing her heart to race. The cabin's windows are covered with shattered glass, creating eerie patterns of light in the darkness. As she approaches the cabin, a faint sound of a woman crying reaches her ears. Her body stiffens, and a chill runs down her spine. The weeping seems to emanate from inside the cabin, but she can't discern the source. Feeling fearful, she raises her phone to capture the cabin, but in the moment of recording, she notices a blurry figure of a woman in the frame. Terrified, she swiftly turns around, only to see a pair of hollow eyes staring at her through the cabin's window. She quickly retreats to her car, her heart pounding like a drum. When she tries to start the car to leave, the vehicle emits an abnormal trembling sound, and the engine miraculously stalls in this remote location. At this moment, the thick fog around her intensifies, as if countless spirits are wandering. She senses an invisible pressure, as if an evil presence is drawing near. The phone screen suddenly lights up, displaying a blurred image of a woman's face, her expression filled with sorrow. In despair, she realizes that the soul of the woman in the cabin might be trying to convey some injustice to her. When she opens the car door again, intending to approach the cabin once more, she discovers that the cabin has vanished without a trace, leaving only the silence of the forest. Finally, she manages to restart the car and hastily leaves the murky place behind. However, the terrifying night leaves an eternal shadow, and whenever she drives through the forest road, she still hears the wailing of injustice echoing in the wind. On a night shrouded in gloom, I found myself alone in an ancient bookstore situated on the outskirts of the city. The store carried a mysterious history, rumored to be a secret repository of a collector's hidden treasures. My task involved organizing these ancient volumes, and my working hours always extended into the midnight. Suddenly, as I immersed myself in the sea of books, a chilling breeze swept across my neck, sending shivers down my spine. I looked up, only to witness the flickering lights within the bookstore, as if an inexplicable presence lingered in the surroundings. Out of the blue, books on the shelves began to fall spontaneously, emitting eerie sounds that echoed through the air. I watched as the books floated in midair, as if an unseen force manipulated them. My heart raced, yet I remained immobilized, as if bound by an unearthly power. Amidst the mournful howl of the wind, I heard whispers, an ancient and ominous language that seemed to flow from the pages of the books. I attempted to decipher the words, but they emanated from the depths of hell, beyond my comprehension. Suddenly, the lights in the bookstore extinguished, plunging the entire space into darkness. Only the moonlight seeping through the windows cast a dim glow on the floor. I sensed an eerie presence drawing near, as if invisible eyes were fixated on me. A hefty, ancient tome levitated from the bookshelf, hovering midair. The pages of the book flipped open of their own accord, revealing ancient runes and forbidden images. A gust of cold wind swept through, causing the text on the pages to writhe like serpents, emitting an aura of malevolence. Abruptly, an intangible hand grazed my skin, sending a chilling and horrifying sensation through my body. I attempted to break free, yet the force seemed to emanate from the depths of hell, resisting all efforts. My psyche became enveloped in darkness, experiencing an indescribable terror. At that moment, a low growl echoed, as if heralding the opening of the gates of hell. The entire bookstore descended into a deathly silence, with only the sounds of my labored breathing and the sinister laughter of the malevolent entity reverberating. Suddenly, all illumination returned, restoring the bookstore to its previous dimness. I found myself lying on the floor, drenched in sweat, and the books on the shelves returned to their silent positions, as if nothing had transpired. However, I knew this wasn't a dream but a supernatural and eerie encounter. Since then, I dared not remain alone in that ancient bookstore during the midnight hours, for I was keenly aware that some malevolent entity lingered in the shadows.